biggest Blake Lively supporters on this app, this footage that I'm about to show you guys is going to make it really, really difficult for me. Sorry, but this girl just keeps digging herself into a hole that I cannot dig her out of. This behind the scenes footage of them filming a very romantic scene, and in the scene it is very apparent that Blake Lively is very comfortable and almost a little bit flirtatious. This could have been well before he did something that made her feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying that SH did not happen on the set of this movie, but as new evidence becomes available, it is much harder to be on Blake Lively's side, and I am still trying.
In the latest chapter of Hollywood's never-ending drama, tensions are running high between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, co-stars of the much-anticipated film adaptation of It Ends With Us. What initially seemed like a promising creative partnership has now devolved into a legal firestorm, with accusations and counterclaims dominating the headlines. Lively, known for her grace and composure, has alleged misconduct on Baldoni's part, accusing him of orchestrating a calculated smear campaign against her. Meanwhile, Baldoni isn't backing down. He's fired back with lawsuits of his own, claiming defamation and extortion. With both sides digging in their heels, this Hollywood feud is unfolding like a real-life courtroom thriller, leaving fans and industry insiders eagerly awaiting the next.
Times released Blake Lively's complaint, suing Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, Jamie Heath, his PR company, and many more. There are a lot of allegations in this complaint, but primarily it alleges sexual harassment and retaliation. The complaint goes into significant detail about what occurred, including an all-hands meeting where Blake's team presented a list of items that Justin Baldoni and his team had to immediately cease. There were also thousands of pages of text messages indicating that Baldoni and his team planned social media attacks against Blake Lively. Okay, so how does all of this work from a legal perspective? Blake must prove her claims by a preponderance of the evidence, meaning that it is more likely than not that the harassment and retaliation occurred. So what are the next steps? Justin and the other defendants have 30 days to respond to the complaint. Okay, so Justin does not need to prove his innocence, but his team will need to disprove Lively's version of the events to show that the allegations are false or that his conduct was actually lawful.
Amidst the legal firestorm, all eyes are now on Blake Lively's lawyer, who, after suffering a major courtroom defeat, has reportedly vanished faster than a Hollywood marriage. The sudden disappearance has only added another layer of intrigue to an already explosive case. As lawsuits, accusations, and unexpected twists continue to unfold, this real-life drama is proving to be more gripping than even the most over-the-top soap operas. Let's dive into the tangled web of legal battles, power plays, and mysterious exits that have everyone talking.
You can also countersue. There was also a question about whether Justin would be held personally liable or whether he would be indemnified by the studio. Under California law, Justin can be held personally liable for his actions if he was acting in his personal capacity and not as a producer, director, or employee of the studio. So what about damages? In this type of case, Blake does not necessarily need to claim financial damages. She can just claim wrongful conduct. However, that is not the case here, and any good lawyer knows to throw in the kitchen sink in a complaint. The complaint alleges that Blake's personal brand suffered, as well as her businesses, including her alcohol brand, Betty Boo's, and her hair care brand, Blake Brown. So, will this case go to trial? In my opinion, it is unlikely that this kind of case will settle because Blake Lively has plenty of money. This will likely go on for quite some time. So, stay tuned because Baldoni's answer is due in 30 days.
The story begins on the set of It Ends With Us, the highly anticipated film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. In January 2023, the casting announcement was met with excitement, with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni set to star, Baldoni also stepping into the director's chair. By May 2023, filming was underway, but behind the scenes, whispers of tension on set began to circulate. These rumors escalated dramatically in December 2024, when Lively filed a formal complaint, accusing Baldoni of fostering a hostile work environment through inappropriate comments and unwelcome advances. She further alleged that after voicing her concerns, Baldoni and his team launched a calculated smear campaign to tarnish her.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to have to rename this movie to It Never Ends because Justin Baldoni has just filed his own 80-page lawsuit, this time against the New York Times for defamation, specifically $250 million worth of defamation in what he says is actually a smear campaign against him. So because we're intellectually honest over here, I read the entire lawsuit from front to back.
Baldoni wasted no time in responding. In January 2025, he fired back with a staggering $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of deliberately orchestrating a campaign to ruin his career. He alleged that the power couple used their industry influence to wrest creative control of It Ends With Us away from him, effectively pushing him out of the project. Baldoni's lawsuit painted a damning picture, one where Hollywood's elite leveraged their clout to sideline him and reshape the production to serve their own interests.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion. Again, wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be like the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, missions, documents, prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. Leslie Sloan, there's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. Those are Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued. And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
As the legal battle escalated, both sides waged a fierce war in the court of public opinion. Lively's team released a series of text messages allegedly showing Baldoni's publicists strategizing ways to damage her reputation in the media. One particularly damning message read, "We can bury anyone," suggesting a calculated effort to tarnish her image. However, Baldoni's camp quickly fired back, accusing Lively of manipulating the messages to fit her narrative. They insisted that the texts were taken out of context and did not constitute a coordinated smear campaign against her.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer has spoken out on a podcast in regards to the potential of a settlement between his client and Blake Lively. As well, an intimacy coordinator has weighed in and has said that she thinks that Blake trusted Justin at one point. Basically, Blake Lively Justin Baldoni cases likely won't settle before trial, and this is according to Justin's lawyer. So 3 months after Blake Lively levied SH allegations on the set of It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni's lawyer admitted that a settlement likely isn't in the forecast. Now that is significant because generally civil cases do end in settlement. The vast majority of them do. However, there can be cases where things are really, really intense and you've got parties that just will absolutely refuse to settle. And I think that is interesting because previously we have seen that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni both refused to meet with the mediator and potentially have a settlement. So what was true in February, it seems nothing much has changed. We're still going to court, at least according to Brian Friedman. So the high-profile litigator Brian Friedman noted that his client has been destroyed by this, his words, as he broke down the cases during a recent appearance on the podcast Town. So the host said, how long can this go on? I don't believe there will be a trial in the case. I think that the potential for the circus and the damage to both sides here will ultimately win out and you guys will settle. So if that's the case, why not just settle now? And then said, what's the number? What would it require for this to go away? Just to stop. And I think it's interesting. We talked a bit in the chat just about this, and a lot of people felt like the only thing that would really make a settlement possible would be an apology. Public apology.
Amid the ongoing legal and PR storm, attention shifted to Lively's legal team. Her lawyer, once vocal in the media, faced a major setback when a judge dismissed a crucial part of Lively's lawsuit due to insufficient evidence. This ruling dealt a significant blow to her case and intensified scrutiny over her legal strategy. Following the courtroom defeat, reports surfaced that Lively's lawyer had gone silent, missing scheduled meetings and becoming unresponsive. Speculation ran wild. Some suggested the lawyer had gone into hiding to escape the fallout, while others believed they were regrouping to devise a new approach after the setback. Whatever the reason, the sudden disappearance only deepened the intrigue surrounding this already convoluted legal battle.
So Friedman then said, you keep referring to it as a circus, and I get it. You see a lot of cases, you see a lot of things, and you do a great job. But the reality is this is not a circus when you go through an experience like this. And that's true. I think it's easy for people to kind of sit back on the sidelines and be able to, take this in almost as entertainment. But these types of cases take a massive personal toll. They take a huge financial toll. So Friedman added, I've represented a lot of people in the worst moments of their careers, the worst moments of their life. And Justin has been destroyed by this. This is a really serious thing. And in this day and age, the only way you can truly get back is to prove your innocence. And he noted how trials are now important to prove your innocence. And that's exactly what we're working to, he said. So that may only be done in a courtroom. And I think that that's entirely possible. And we're going to see how things go when it comes to that.
The media frenzy surrounding the case has been relentless, with tabloids dissecting every twist, from the initial allegations to the latest courtroom maneuvers. Public opinion remains sharply divided. Some rally behind Lively, praising her courage in speaking out against alleged misconduct, while others see Baldoni as the victim of a calculated effort to derail his career. Social media has only amplified the chaos, fueling heated debates, viral memes, and endless conspiracy theories. As the case unfolds, the court of public opinion continues to wage its own battle, reflecting just how polarized the controversy has become.
I don't know how many of you guys remember this article, but it was absolutely everywhere. And basically, Mia's take on the video was that it didn't prove Justin's case. It actually backed up Blake's, which a lot of people disagreed with, and it caused a lot of controversy. So I was interested that Mia spoke for this documentary. So let's get into what Mia said. So a Hollywood intimacy coordinator believes there was, at least at one point, some affection between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So Mia, whose credits include Apple TV Plus's Lessons in Chemistry and HBO's Insecure and Perry Mason, weighed in on the dramatic on-set feud between the It Ends With Us co-stars, which is now the subject of multiple lawsuits. Dueling lawsuits filed by Lively and Baldoni include text messages the stars sent to one another while filming the movie, including a discussion in which the pair discussed changes that Baldoni ultimately acquiesced to.
Amidst the chaos, It Ends With Us has been completely overshadowed by the ongoing legal battles. Originally set for a wide release, the film's promotional efforts have been derailed by the controversy, casting a shadow over its potential box office success and awards prospects. Industry insiders speculate that the feud could significantly impact its financial performance, with investors reportedly worried about recouping their costs amid the reputational damage suffered by its leading stars. Beyond Hollywood, the legal community has also turned its attention to the case, particularly the conduct of Lively's attorney. Ethics committees are said to be reviewing the lawyer's actions, especially following their sudden disappearance. Colleagues have expressed shock at such an uncharacteristic move, noting that it could have long-term consequences for their careers. As the dust begins to settle, lingering questions remain. Can Lively and Baldoni repair their careers after such a public and bitter dispute? Will the film rise above the negative press to find success with audiences? And perhaps most intriguingly, will Lively's lawyer reemerge to continue the fight, or has this legal battle already claimed its most unexpected casualty?